year. Will this be the year, though, that you meet someone, if you're looking for someone? I don't necessarily subscribe to the view that you need someone to complete you, so to speak. You know, that whole idea, you got to find your other half. But it is nice to have someone to perhaps hang out, to share your life with, your dreams, perhaps, or maybe just have a plus one for certain events. But it's not surprising, though, with many humans need to have that the scammers have found a way to infiltrate it. Dating apps apparently are a bit of a mine or a gold mine for scammers. So what should we do when it comes to, if you want to be online and do a dating app, then how do you keep yourself safe? Now, joining us to chat about this is Associate Professor Ritesh Chugh, a socio-technological expert from CQ University or Central Queensland University, and our guest on breakfast. Hello to you.
Good morning, Georgia.
Morning to you. So is it possible to be online on a dating app and still be safe when it comes to your data?
It is possible, but unfortunately, last year, Australians have lost over $38 million to dating and romance scams. And hence, it's important to be aware of the problems and take protective measures. And in fact, Georgia, nearly 3,400 people have reported falling prey to the scams, and which equates to losing about $11,000 per person.
That's a lot of money. And I think part of the problem I know Scam Watch told us before is it's people don't necessarily report it because there's a little bit of embarrassment. But just before, we're coming up to news in a few minutes' time. So what are some key things people can do to make sure they're not one of those people that fall to these scams?
Our social media profiles are a rich source of personal information for scammers. So it is important that we don't give away too much personal information and keep the information generic, such as mentioning your career, not where you work, or where you're from, rather than giving your entire address. So avoid oversharing of information in dating profiles is the key message, because through our profiles, scammers can know our full name, our email, complete date of birth, phone number, place of birth, address, photo. And cyber criminals do not need access to all of these pieces of information. So we just have to make sure that we're not providing too much information.
Isn't it? It's tricky though, isn't it? Because on those dating apps, I think people message back and forth too to get a sense of the other person. So you're asking questions back and forth. But what's the sign that those questions are perhaps them trying to get other information off you? Like, what should you be on the lookout for once you start messaging someone?
Avoid providing any personally identifiable information through the profile picture. Sometimes, people have profile photos where in the background, you can find out what their workplace is. People often wearing badges, or the location where that photo was taken is a telltale sign. And also be aware of profiles that only provide one or two photos in their account, because that sounds a bit sus, people not providing sufficient information about themselves. So it is really a catch-22 situation. We really need to balance in terms of what sort of information we provide, because scammers are there for identity theft, Georgia. Yeah. And identity theft can occur in different ways. And they're really looking for personally identifiable information. So, I understand that good quality profiles are important to Cupids, but we really have to be mindful of how much information we share. And in fact, some of the common dating scams that happen through these sites, Georgia, there are fake dating websites. There is romance baiting that takes place. Often the scammers will ask you to invest in cryptocurrency or other investment opportunities. There is often sextortion that also takes place, which is, sending sexual images and then using them to extort money. Wow. So there are a lot of scams and malware scams where people can be redirected to legitimate lookalike websites that encourage interaction with malware. So we just have to be careful of, or mindful of, not falling prey to these scammers.
How important if you get the sense that something's not quite right or someone tries to say, get you to invest in something or send them a picture, is that where you need to report it, say, to if you're on a reputable site to that, or if you have in fact been scammed, to report it to, say, ScamWatch or someone else?
Yeah, I think reporting should really come when you've been scammed. Often at times, people just think that they've been scammed, whereas it might not be a scam. So the first recourse is obviously reported to the dating website. Then if you feel you've been scammed, then report it to ScamWatch, because data is really important. And even before you start all of that, I think it's important that your listeners do what we call a reverse image search. So you can go to Google.
Yes.
You can upload the profile photo and see if that photo appears elsewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And then see if it's got a different name on it. It's been a real pleasure chatting to you. We're just up to news time now. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. So beware of the cyber sweetheart swindlers.
Absolutely. Oh, I like that alliteration. Thank you. That's Associate Professor Ritesh Chugh. He's a socio-technological expert from CQ University. So if you are wanting to find love, or at least a companion or a plus one, just be aware that there are some people out there for different reasons. This is ABC Radio Canberra.